Hi, so if you're watching this, you're probably a friend of mine from church or you met me and added me on Facebook. But I just wanted to share something with a few of my friends that the Lord really showed me last night at a women's Bible study that we had. This is such a popular verse, and I know we all have heard this before, but the Lord really spoke something new into my heart about this verse yesterday, and I wanted to share it with you. Jeremiah 29:11 says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a hope and a future." And I always read that verse and I always hear Christians say, God has a plan for you. God has a plan for you. And that's comforting, but sometimes in my mind, it's so hard to understand how big God is and how big his mind is. And so I like to start to worry about things and think I need to plan out my own life because the Lord has so many people to worry about in the world, and he has so many people out there that even if he has a plan for me, how could he possibly spend every day focusing on me or paying attention to the little things that are going on in my life? And a while back, it was my niece's first birthday, and my sister sent us these little jars, and she put little invitations in there, and it's just a little jar filled with sand, and I started thinking about how many times a day I worry about things or stress out about the future or stress out about some circumstance in my life. And I thought about all those thoughts and fears that I have for my life as one of these little grains that are in this jar. And then I thought about the way that the Lord sees them. And over in Isaiah chapter 55, verses 8 and 9 say, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord. As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts higher than your thoughts." So I started thinking, and I was like, if God's ways are not our ways, and his thoughts are not our thoughts, how do we compare the thoughts and the plans that we have for our lives and the thoughts and plans that the Lord has for our lives? And how do we get from one to the other? How do we switch over from our ways and our thoughts to his ways and his thoughts? And how do his thoughts carry over into our lives? How do we get those thoughts that he has for our lives to actually come true in our lives? And the Lord really spoke to my heart a verse that a long time ago, I had a friend that this was her favorite chapter in the Bible, and she would always talk about it. And it's Psalms 139, verses 17 and 18. "How precious to me are your thoughts, O God! How vast is the sum of them! Were I to count them, they would outnumber the grains of sand. When I awake, I am still with you." And so I started imagining how my thoughts compared to God's thoughts. And of course, our hearts are deceptive, and our passions lead us astray from the Lord. And I started thinking, God, if I collected all the thoughts that I've ever had for my life, all the fears, all the worries, all the times that I've thought, God, what's going to happen? What's going to happen tomorrow? What's going to happen next week? Let me make these plans and let me plan this out. And I realized that even if I collected every thought that I have ever had for my life, that they might fill more than just this little bottle. They might fill up a bathtub or a jacuzzi or something like that. But the thoughts that the Lord has specifically for my life, for your life, outnumber the grains of sand in the world. All of his thoughts just specifically for you as an individual person, aside from everyone else, outnumbers the grains of sand in the world. So when we're tempted to think that the Lord has a general plan for us, but maybe he doesn't understand right now what's going on with me, just remember that the number of times that the Lord has thought of you and has thought for you, even before the time that you were ever born on this earth, outnumber the grains of sand in the world. And that's really mind-blowing to think that someone would think of us that much. Literally, there's never a time in your life that the Lord isn't wholly, completely, totally focused on specifically you. The Bible tells us that because of his love for us, he came and he died on the cross so that we could have a relationship with him. And I pray that today, if you're going through something and you feel like you're alone or you feel like there's no one out there with you, just remember that the Lord has thought of you more times than you could ever think of yourself. And more than anyone else in this world or anything else in this world could ever think of you. So if you feel alone, just run to him, run to his presence, run to his word, and just read about the kind of love that he has for you. The immense amount of time and love that he's poured into specifically you, the immense amount of time that Jesus hung on the cross and the pain that he endured specifically for you. I pray that today, if you're feeling lonely, that you'd reach out to someone around you that knows the Lord, someone that's a believer, someone that you think knows about that kind of love that could share that with you. And believers, I pray that if you understand that mighty, immense love that the Father has for you, that you wouldn't keep it to yourself, because a love that can have that many thoughts for just me and for my neighbor and for my friends and for my family, why would we want to keep that? Why would we want to store that up for ourselves? I just pray that you would go out and you would share that love today. Share that love and share that vision that God doesn't have a half thrown together plan for your life. He doesn't have you on some route that's just the broad mind controlling path of Christians. A lot of people think that we're, just following the path to follow the path, but I don't want to follow religion. I don't want to follow a path just because it's a path that other people are on. I want to follow the Lord Jesus Christ because he's a God that loves me and thinks of me more than the grains of sand in the earth. And that makes me want to praise and follow him. And I pray that you would just share that with other people today. I love you guys. If you have any questions or anything like that, I don't normally do this, but I just really wanted to share that with you guys. And that really encouraged me and touched my heart, and I pray that it'll do the same for you. Praying for you guys, and I love you.